Hello there, and welcome to a Shozy Z production. Does anybody remember who this is? I'm thinking I maybe need to make a doll of her. She's fabulous. I mean, who would like to see that? Raise your hand right now. And before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can, because you know you want to, first of all, and so you can help with my algorithms through YouTube. I know it's not a medical term, algorithm. It's not, but it does help with my YouTube, data, metadata, basically. Yeah, that's what it helps with. Sure, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help with my smoking or my rampant ice cream annihilation in the middle of the night, or my sleep deprivation, or my chasing cars down the road, barking at oh, wait, did I say that? Oh, I didn't mean to say any of that. Okay, sorry. Rewind. Anyway, thank you for subscribing, and don't forget to Warning, warning, warning. This may be the last time you have to see this picture of these boxes of dolls. Be prepared. Now, in this picture, you kind of saw, it was a group shot of all the dolls that I got recently or in the last couple of months or what have you. And there were three, four, whatever. Who's counting, right? Okay. Not Sibley's. Ruby Red Fashion Dolls. And if you'll notice, one in the middle and the one on the far right are the two that I'm going to be talking about today. And the one in the middle is Maya, and the one on the far right is Kayla. And those are the two that I'm going to show you today. And look at their little outfits. Aren't they adorable? Here they are. And I'll have you know that this photo has never been seen before in public. Only here. So, you guys are the first to view it. Because I used another shot, which I'll also insert, but on Instagram. But it was a close tie between this shot and the other one, but I went with the other one. And you tell me which one you like best. But look at their little outfits and their hair. And this is a complete out-of-the-box photos. I did take photos of them in their boxes, but because of the lighting in the kitchen, because that's where I open all my dolls at, because I've got my knife right there. And I don't know why I have to be Australian when I say that word, knife. I don't even know if that's a really good Australian accent. Probably not, but I think it's a Crocodile Dundee reference, just so you know. I love that guy. Anyway, it just wasn't, they didn't turn out good. There was a lot of glare because the fronts of the boxes, and I've kept the boxes. I don't know what I'm going to do with the boxes. Are all like cellophane-y. They're plastic. They're clear plastic. So, you really can't take really good shots of them with any kind of lighting. So I just discarded them because I thought, what are you going to be looking at? Aliens? You won't even know what's in those boxes, So anyway, when I unboxed them, Maya, who is now Annie on the left, and then Kayla, who is now Iowna, and I'll tell you why I named them that in a second. But Maya's hair was like, poof, like she stuck her finger in a light socket. It was that big. And let me tell you, I've had a fro before, so I know all about fros, how they flatten, and how when you just poof them up, they go, like that through the roof. Yes, the blue-haired girl has had a fro. It was in this, let's see, what grade was it? 7th or 8th grade, and I had a fro. It was a thing back then, okay? Everybody had one. Okay, not everybody in my class, but I was the only one. But anyway, it just worked out like that, okay? I've had every hairstyle under the sun. I even had almost a Sinead O'Connor because I had my head shaved. Why? Because my parents were goony. They were goony, okay? I can talk about them now like that because they're gone. I could talk about them when they were here. Didn't matter. Just like that. Because I didn't care. Because they were goony. Because they knew it. But that's what happened. I was voted the girl with the shortest hair in school when I was in 6th grade. Luckily, it grew back. And just in time for me to have a fro. That's what my life was like. That was my sad, uncharted life. All right, moving on. I just kind of like, because you can't do much. I have a pick, luckily, from American Girl. So I kind of like, very carefully. I didn't want to pick it out too much because it'll just make it worse. If you don't know this about certain dolls' hair, if you over pick it, it just makes it floofier, okay? So you have to be careful, and you cannot brush this kind of hair. Do not even attempt that at home. Don't touch it with any kind of a brush. So you just have to finger pull it. Finger tamp it with your hands, and you got to be careful because you have a lot of oils in your hands and you're not aware of that. You never use your brush on your doll, even if they have straight hair, because the oils in your hair transfer to the doll's hair. It's not a good thing. So you have to use their own brushes on them. I used to brush Sig's fur with my dolls, and then I'm thinking, God, I really gotta wash these brushes because I'm brushing Sig, but he loved it, so I just did. But now in a minute I will tell you why I named them, what I named them, and this is the second shot. And the reason I named them Annie and Iowna, I had my great-grandmother, who I grew up with. Her and my great-grandfather pretty much took care of me because my parents abandoned me when I was young. Not really, but seemed like it. They were working. I mean, I was like 4 or 5 years old, so, there was really no one to watch me except for my great-grandparents who did, they were the only ones, basically, okay? Because everybody else was working in life. My grandmother worked. She worked for a judge for 30-something years. My parents worked. I was the only child, so, somebody had to take care of this kid. So, anyway, my great-grandmother had very dark black eyes and, like, steel gray hair, and she was very fierce, man. You just didn't mess with my great-grandmother, okay? Her name was Anna, and people called her Annie or Mom. And then she had a little tiny bird-like sister who was the totally opposite end of the spectrum from her. Little fragile, petite thing. And she had snow white hair. It was always like perfect. She had these china blue eyes, and she was always very cordial and very kind, and she would teach me stuff when I'd go over there. My great-grandmother I would stand on a chair and try to write things down. Okay, what are you making? How much do you put in there? And she'd say, a pinch of this, pinch of that, and I'm like, what's a pinch? Show me a pinch. What does a pinch look like? It's like I don't. So when I would ask my her sister Iowna, we'd go to visit her, which was a rarity. Well, how do you make this? And she was the one who taught me how to put chopped tomatoes in my coleslaw. That was like, it was genius, it's like the best stuff ever. And she showed me how to do it, and I was a little kid still. I was still a little kid, and she was teaching me this stuff. And she lived quite a ways from my great-grandparents, so they didn't get to see each other very often. But her eyes, my great-grandmother's eyes, would soften, and whenever they would look at her, because she just had this great love for her sister, and they were like two peas in a pod, and they weren't very physically. They didn't touch really that much. They give each other a little hug and that kind of thing, but they weren't very physical. But and my great-grandmother towered over, physically, it seemed like she towered over her sister. She was a statuesque woman, bigger, much bigger than her sister Iowna. But they were they were just in sync with one another, and they were just always so pleased to see one another, you know. And it was like a treat for them. It was like, you know, a treat for me is ice cream. A treat for them was being in one another's presence. And I felt that. I saw it. I was in tune with that. And they'd get rid of me as quickly as they could. Go play down the street, show. You know, go go out in the backyard. Go get lost. So I would go get lost while they spent time together. You know, catching up all on the news. You know, showing each other all their goodies and stuff like that. This is what I brought. This is what I've got. This is what I made. You know. Uninterrupted, without this bothersome kid hanging around, you know, just so they could have their special time together as sisters. And it was just, I caught on, even being a little kid real quick, that this was important. And when we leave, my great grandmother, she didn't drive. Somebody would always drive us there, and she'd be real quiet on the way back, like, you know. She was real thoughtful, you know, like she already was mourning her sister's presence. And so anyway, long story, I know. It brings up a lot, because they've both been gone, I'm sure, for long time. My oldest son was a baby, basically, when my great grandmother passed. He was quite young, when she passed away. And, well, maybe he was 1 or 2 when she passed away. Anyway, so he's like 40 years old now almost, so, you know, it's been a long time. And those are my treasured memories of life altogether. I tried to have treasured memories with my kids, but you know, I really tried to have treasured memories with them, because they were my one and all. But my real treasured memories was when I was with these people that did so much for me, you know. So I hope you have people like that in your life too, that just, you know, show you the way of life, and through their generous gestures. And these two are awesome dolls. So if you don't have them and you're thinking about getting them, and you're on the brink of, should I get them, should I not? They're worth it. They're really worth it. Any of the Ruby Red fashion dolls are really amazing dolls. They're really worth it. You'll enjoy them. Clothing, on the other hand, they can wear the Glitter Girls clothing. If you don't have anything on hand, they can wear them. Okay, thanks so much for listening to my story. And now don't forget to subscribe, because you know you want to. Thanks for watching, of course. And leave prudent comments, because nobody likes nasty comments. And hit the notification bell so you know when a new video is about to come your way. Take care, you guys. You are all special.